The suns of Virex, 9 burned like twin furnaces in the sky. The desert stretched forever, endless red dust and broken stone. And somewhere in that burning wasteland, a single human was about to make a decision that would shake an entire galactic empire. Marcus Hale was not a soldier. He was not a hero either. He was just a human engineer who had survived a crashed cargo ship. His ship had gone down 2 days earlier during a violent magnetic storm that ripped through the planet's atmosphere. The rest of the crew had evacuated in escape pods, but Marcus had been unlucky enough to land alone, miles away from any known colony. Now he walked across the jagged plains with a half-empty water pack and a broken navigation device. The heat was brutal. The air felt like fire in his lungs. Every step felt heavier than the last. Marcus wiped sweat from his forehead and groaned. "Fantastic," he muttered to the empty desert. Stranded on an alien planet, dying of heat, and probably about to get eaten by something with 12 legs. The wind answered with a long whistle across the rocks. It sounded almost like laughter. Marcus kept walking. He knew one thing about survival: keep moving. Humans had always survived by doing the impossible one step at a time. After another hour of painful walking, Marcus reached a ridge of black volcanic stone. From the top, he could see miles of desert stretching into the horizon. And then he saw something strange. A flash of purple between the rocks. Marcus squinted. At first he thought it was some kind of alien animal. But when he climbed closer, he froze. It was a woman. She lay half-buried between 2 stones, motionless in the sand. Her skin shimmered with a faint violet color, almost glowing under the twin suns. Long silver hair spilled across the ground like threads of light. Her clothes were unlike anything Marcus had seen before, smooth metallic fabric covered with strange symbols that faintly glowed. She was clearly not human. Marcus hesitated. Every survival instinct told him to keep walking. Aliens on unknown planets rarely meant good news. But then the woman moved. Just slightly. A quiet groan escaped her lips. Marcus sighed. "Well," he muttered, "so much for minding my own business." He stepped closer and crouched beside her. Her breathing was weak. One of her legs was twisted badly, and a deep wound cut across her side. She looked like she had been in a crash. Marcus gently shook her shoulder. "Hey, you alive?" Her eyes opened slowly. They were bright gold. For a moment she stared at him, confused and unfocused. Then she spoke. "You are human." Her voice was soft but sharp, like someone used to being obeyed. Marcus blinked. Yeah. Last time I checked." She studied him for a moment, then tried to sit up. The moment she moved, pain shot through her body. She gasped and fell back. Marcus raised an eyebrow. "Yeah, maybe don't do that." She glared at him. "I do not require assistance from a primitive species." Marcus laughed. "Great. Because I definitely enjoy carrying injured aliens across a desert." She tried to stand again. Her leg collapsed instantly. For several seconds she just lay there, breathing heavily. Then she looked at Marcus again. Her expression changed. Not pride. Not anger. Reluctant acceptance. "Human," she said quietly. "If you help me reach shelter, I will reward you." Marcus scratched his head. Honestly, survival sounds like a good reward already. He looked around the endless wasteland. Night would come soon, and on alien worlds that usually meant predators. Marcus sighed again. "All right, Purple Lady," he said. "Let's try something stupid." He carefully lifted her onto his back. She was surprisingly light. Her arms wrapped around his shoulders. For a moment she seemed shocked. "You are stronger than you appear." Marcus snorted. Humans are good at surviving bad days. He adjusted his grip and started walking again. Step by step. Across the endless desert. The sun slowly lowered toward the horizon. Shadows stretched across the rocks. The wind grew colder. After nearly an hour, Marcus was exhausted. His legs trembled with every step. But the alien woman remained silent on his back. Finally she spoke. "Human, Why help me? Marcus shrugged. Because leaving someone to die in a desert is a terrible way to start the day. She studied him quietly. Your species is strange. Yeah, Marcus replied. We hear that a lot. Suddenly the ground trembled. Marcus stopped. A deep rumbling sound rolled across the desert. Then the sand began to move. Something huge was coming. Marcus whispered one word. Run. But running with an injured alien on his back across a hostile world might be the most dangerous decision of his life. And neither of them yet understood that rescuing this mysterious stranger would soon place one ordinary human in the middle of a galactic war. Night fell quickly on the desert world of Virex 9. The twin suns disappeared behind the horizon, and the burning wasteland turned cold within minutes. The red dust that had scorched Marcus Hale's skin during the day now blew across the plains like icy smoke. Marcus kept walking. The injured alien woman still clung to his back, her arms around his shoulders as he stumbled across the rocky terrain. His legs were shaking from exhaustion. But the ground tremor from earlier had changed everything. Something large was moving beneath the sand. And whatever it was following them. Marcus stopped for a moment and listened. The desert was silent. Too silent. The alien woman spoke quietly behind him. You heard it too. Marcus nodded. Yeah. Big. Angry. Probably hungry. She looked around the dark horizon. We must find shelter. Quickly. Marcus scanned the landscape. In the faint moonlight, he noticed a tall rock formation rising from the desert floor like a broken tower. Over there, he said. Those cliffs. He forced his tired legs to move again. Each step felt like lifting a mountain. But humans had always survived by doing the impossible. Finally they reached the stone formation. The rocks formed a narrow canyon, deep enough to block the wind and hide them from whatever hunted the desert. Marcus carefully lowered the alien woman onto the ground. She winced in pain but stayed quiet. Marcus collapsed beside her, breathing heavily. Okay, he gasped. Shelter achieved. Human heroism complete for today. The alien woman studied him with those glowing gold eyes. You complain constantly. It's a survival technique, Marcus replied. Very advanced human strategy. She almost smiled. For a moment the desert was peaceful. Then a distant humming sound echoed across the canyon. Marcus froze. That sound was not an animal. It was mechanical. Ships. Several bright lights appeared in the sky above the desert. They moved slowly, scanning the ground with beams of white energy. Marcus whispered, "Search drones." The alien woman's expression hardened instantly. They have found us. Marcus looked at her. Who exactly is they? Before she could answer, a loud voice echoed across the desert from one of the hovering ships. Attention! Unauthorized life forms detected. The voice was cold and mechanical. Remain where you are. Resistance will result in termination. Marcus stared at the sky. Well, that doesn't sound friendly. The alien woman struggled to stand. They are not searching for you, human. Marcus raised an eyebrow. Let me guess. They're searching for you. She nodded slowly. Yes. A beam of scanning light passed across the canyon entrance. Marcus's mind began racing. 3 ships. Advanced sensors. Armed drones. Running was impossible. Fighting was suicide. But humans were very good at something else. Improvising. Marcus quickly grabbed several small rocks and scattered them across the canyon floor. Then he pulled a metal tool from his belt, the only thing he had salvaged from the crash. A plasma cutter. Half broken. But still useful. The alien woman watched him curiously. What are you doing? Marcus grinned. Human engineering. He activated the plasma cutter and melted small lines across the rocks, creating reflective surfaces. Then he buried the tool under the sand and dragged a large stone across the canyon entrance. Moments later, 2 drones descended into the canyon. Their scanning beams moved across the walls. Marcus remained perfectly still behind the rocks. The alien woman stayed silent beside him. The drones scanned again. Then something strange happened. The beams reflected off the melted rocks and scattered across the canyon walls in dozens of directions. To the drones, it looked like hundreds of heat signatures. Confusing. Unstable.
Inidentifiable.
The machines paused. Then the voice from the ship spoke again. Sensor interference detected. Target location uncertain. Continue search perimeter. The drones slowly lifted back into the air and flew away. Marcus finally breathed again. Well, he whispered. That worked better than expected. The alien woman stared at him in disbelief. You fooled Imperial hunter drones. With rocks. Marcus shrugged. Humans invented duct tape and improvised solutions. This is basically our specialty. For a moment she said nothing. Then she spoke softly. Your species is far more dangerous than the galaxy believes. Marcus chuckled. Yeah. We get underestimated a lot. The ships slowly disappeared into the distance. But Marcus knew they would return. The alien woman looked toward the stars. Her expression was heavy with worry. Marcus noticed. You want to tell me what's going on? She hesitated. Then finally she said it. They are members of the Dominion fleet. Marcus frowned. And that's bad. Her golden eyes met his. Very bad. Marcus sat down beside her. Okay. Let's start simple. Who are you? For a long moment she stayed silent. Then she spoke the truth. My name is Lyra Valais. Marcus waited. But the way she said the name sounded important. Very important. Okay, Marcus said slowly. Anne? She looked toward the sky again. Her voice became calm. Almost royal. I am the Empress of the Valerian Empire. Marcus blinked. He stared at her. Then he laughed. Of course you are. She did not laugh. Her eyes remained serious. Marcus slowly stopped smiling. Oh. The realization hit him like a meteor. He had just carried the ruler of an alien empire across a desert. And now an entire fleet was hunting them. Marcus sighed. Well, he muttered, this day just keeps getting better. But far above them, the Dominion ships were already turning back. And this time, they were bringing soldiers. The cold desert wind whispered through the canyon as Marcus Hale stared up at the stars. Somewhere above those stars, powerful fleets were searching for one injured alien woman. An Empress. And somehow, a stranded human engineer had become her only protection. Marcus rubbed his face and sighed. Well, he muttered, I officially miss my boring life. Across from him, Lyra Valais, Empress of the Valerian Empire, watched him carefully. Most species in the galaxy reacted to royalty with fear, obedience, or worship. Marcus reacted with sarcasm. It was confusing. You do not seem impressed, she said quietly. Marcus shrugged. I mean, it's cool. But right now you're still an injured alien sitting in a canyon with a guy who hasn't slept in 2 days. For the first time since they met, Lyra laughed softly. It was a warm sound. You truly are a strange species. Marcus leaned against a rock. Yeah, humans hear that a lot. For a moment the canyon was silent. Then the sky lit up again. 3 ships descended through the clouds. But this time they were closer. Much closer. Marcus groaned. Ah. Round 2. The ships hovered above the desert like metal predators. Bright search beams cut across the canyon walls. This time the Dominion soldiers were not sending drones. The ships opened. Dark figures dropped to the ground below. Armored. Armed. And moving fast. Lyra's voice became tense. Dominion strike troops. Marcus counted. 1, 2, 5, 8 soldiers. Too many. Too well equipped. Marcus whispered. Yeah, fighting them directly sounds like a terrible plan. Lyra looked at him. What do humans do when victory is impossible? Marcus smiled slightly. We cheat. He quickly scanned the canyon. Loose rocks. Metal fragments from ancient wreckage. Sharp cliffs. And something else. A narrow tunnel carved into the canyon wall. Marcus pointed. That tunnel goes somewhere. Lyra nodded. These formations often contain underground caverns. Marcus grinned. Perfect. He helped Lyra stand again and guided her toward the tunnel. Behind them, the Dominion soldiers entered the canyon. Their helmets glowed with scanning sensors. One of them spoke through a metallic voice amplifier. Target confirmed. Capture the Empress. Marcus whispered. Well, they found us faster than expected. The tunnel was dark and narrow. Marcus half-carried Lyra deeper inside. Behind them, the soldiers followed. Their footsteps echoed through the stone. Marcus suddenly noticed something strange. The tunnel floor was covered with thin crystal formations. Sharp. Fragile. Marcus remembered something from his engineering training. Certain alien crystals reacted violently with energy weapons. Marcus smiled. Okay, new plan. He helped Lyra sit behind a large rock deeper in the tunnel. Stay here, he whispered. What are you doing? She asked. Marcus picked up several crystal shards. Human problem solving. He carefully scattered the crystals across the tunnel floor. Then he grabbed his broken plasma cutter again. The soldiers entered the tunnel. Their armored boots crushed the first crystals. Crack, crack, crack. One soldier raised his weapon. Human detected. Marcus activated the plasma cutter, but instead of aiming at the soldiers, he fired at the crystal floor. The tunnel exploded with light. The crystals reacted instantly with the plasma energy. A chain reaction raced across the floor like lightning. The entire tunnel flashed with blinding energy. The Dominion soldiers shouted in confusion. Their advanced weapons malfunctioned instantly. Their armor systems overloaded. Several soldiers collapsed. Others stumbled blindly. Marcus grabbed Lyra again. Time to go. They ran deeper through the tunnel as the explosion echoed behind them. After several minutes, the tunnel opened into a massive underground cavern. Bioluminescent plants glowed softly along the walls. A hidden world beneath the desert. Marcus helped Lyra sit beside a glowing pool of water. Both of them were breathing heavily. Above them, distant echoes of the Dominion soldiers faded. Lyra stared at Marcus in disbelief. You defeated an elite Dominion squad, using rocks and unstable crystals. Marcus shrugged. Honestly, I'm making this up as I go. Lyra slowly stood. Her injured leg was already healing faster now that they were out of the heat. She looked at Marcus with deep curiosity. For centuries, the galaxy believed humans were a minor species. Marcus raised an eyebrow. Yeah, we get underestimated. Lyra nodded. That may be the Dominion's greatest mistake. Marcus looked up toward the distant desert ceiling above them. So what happens now, Your Majesty? Lyra stepped closer. Her voice became calm and powerful. Now the galaxy learns something new. Marcus tilted his head. What's that? Lyra smiled. That humans are not just survivors. She looked toward the distant stars far beyond the desert. They are unpredictable. Marcus grinned. Unpredictable is basically our brand. Above the desert of Virex 9, the Dominion fleet was still searching. They believed they were hunting a wounded Empress. But they did not yet understand something important. The Empress was no longer alone. She now had a human. And in the long history of the galaxy, nothing was more dangerous than a determined human with a creative plan. The story of Marcus Hale, the human who carried an alien Empress across a burning world, would soon spread across the stars. Not as a story of war, but as a warning. Never underestimate humanity. Because when humans face impossible odds, they invent new ways to win.